Yo,
What is up?
hey. It's Eric J. Olson
Kevin Daisy.
coming at you live.
On Valentine's Day, we got some kisses here, some Hershey's Kisses. I just dropped one.
Kevin wanted to kiss on air, so I gave him this. Just this.
Zach Miller gave us a tip last time that we were too far apart. We were like this. So we got to get a little closer together, which is a little weird.
So today we are going to talk about voice search and voice assistance and everything voice.
Yep.
What's your experience with voice, Kevin?
So I use it quite often. I'm in my truck every morning to call somebody, to search for something, to play music. I say, hey, Google, and then do my search and get things to do that way. I also have Alexa at home, and I have Google's the Hub, which is for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So my Wi-Fi itself and then the Wi-Fi extender are both smart speakers as well. So you can ask it questions, you can get it to dim lights. I can actually say, limit my kids' Wi-Fi, and then just their devices will actually shut down off Wi-Fi.
Oh, you do that with voice.
Exactly. All I gotta do is stay in the room. Hey, limit the kids' Wi-Fi, and then if they're being
awesome.
if they're being bad or something, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, and there's nothing they can do about it because I can set it up for.
Voice recognition?
I guess so. I haven't actually set that up yet, but that's a pretty cool.
Was that through Google or?
That's through Google.
Through Google, okay. All right.
Because my Wi-Fi
That's
is
interesting.
through Google, the Google Hub,
Yeah.
and so basically you can control your Wi-Fi that way.
So I don't know about the Google Hub. I don't have one of those. So
really
is Google Hub different than the Google Home? Like in my office, I have the Google Home Mini. So and it has a display.
Yeah, no, it's completely different.
I think it's called the Google Home Display. Is what
So
it's
basically, this is you replace your router, your router with this.
called. Okay.
So I got rid of the Verizon router, and you can replace it with the Google Hub.
And is there like a microphone and speaker on that? So
Absolutely.
that's something that sits out in the open.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not a router like my router where we kind of like hide it under a piece of furniture.
It's a little round. It looks really cool.
Neat.
And then if you pay, that's probably double the price or a little bit less. But if you pay for the double pack, one's an extender, and you can put that. I think it's like
Upstairs,
3,500
outside
square
the
foot, house like it can cover.
So that's super interesting. So it's
And that one's a speaker too. They're both speakers.
so it's Wi-Fi and it's a smart speaker all in one.
Yep.
So it's a BOGO.
It's a
You know?
BOGO.
Yeah. So whereas like right now I've got a Wi-Fi device and then I've got a smart speaker, but they're completely separate and they don't talk to one another either. So I have the Apple Airport for Wi-Fi, and then at home I've got we're Alexa. We're all Alexa at home, and
Yeah. It's funny enough we have both. So I actually have smart speaker recessed lighting. So they're a light and they're a speaker, and I can control my music through Alexa to go to those speakers or Google. But the Google Hub itself too, it can control other Google Homes or the little speakers, like in one in each room. So I can say, hey, play music to the whole house, or it can do the different lights you can get. It can control those. I think it can also integrate and talk with Ring. So there's actually, I think Alexa, and I had the Ring as well, but you can basically start hooking up all this stuff to control everything. And so now you don't just have to have Alexa control an Amazon product. They now have I guess skills and
yep.
that you can
Yep.
download. So Samsung has skills. If you have a Samsung, I got the speaker from my TV, like the big long one. If that has
Soundbar.
if that has an app for it in Bluetooth, then you can now control that, and so everyone's getting on board.
Yeah. So
Put it that way.
So yeah, at home we're all Amazon when it comes to voice. We have the Mini downstairs in the kitchen, the newer ones. So the new one is way better in picking up the what do they call it, the wake word. Much better in picking up the wake word and understanding what it is that I'm saying. So the version 3 is definitely way better than the version 1 that I had for a long time. Upstairs we still have the Echo Original, like the tall one. It
Yes,
works. It's
yes.
just it doesn't pick up quite as well, and the speaker's not quite as good. So at home we're all Amazon. I think here at the office we're mixed because we kind of experiment here. So over here we have an Echo. In the kitchen and in the conference room, we have a Google Mini. I think they call them a Home Mini, Google
Yep.
Home Mini.
There's so many different ones.
In my office, I have the Google Display, which is about this big.
I got you that.
Which you got me that for Christmas in 19.
Yep.
No,
No, 18.
18. Yeah.
18.
But then I use this like all the time.
Yeah.
So as an example,
Same thing.
the car that I'm driving right now is a hand me down from my daughter, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But she doesn't need it anymore, so I'm driving and it's got a little.
Can we get
stick
some
shift.
donations here
Yeah,
for Eric?
I could use some funding for a
Yeah.
new car.
He's broke.
Yeah.
He's
Can we
broke.
spin up like a Kickstarter or something? Someone. All
All
right.
right, get this guy a car.
So I don't have it's a 2007 and it doesn't have Bluetooth in it. So what I do is I put this up on the dash, like in the vent. There's like one of those little vent.
The vent
phone.
clip.
Yeah, I bought it from the dollar store. So I put it up there, and it sits up there as I'm driving. And then what I do is I say, "Okay, Google," and this should pop on. Okay, and then I say, "Call Kevin Daisy Mobile."
Mine did too.
So it didn't do what I expected, but it usually does. And I don't know if it got picked up here or
I
not.
heard the back speaker. He's actually calling me.
All right.
He just called the office too.
That's real. Okay, so what happened was when I said the wake phrase, "Okay, Google," it did wake this up, but the Google Mini,
Leaving me a voicemail.
that's
right now.
hilarious. The Google
Google
Mini
off.
in the kitchen. Oh man, this thing's going nuts. I broke the internet. So
That's funny.
the Google Mini in the kitchen received my command, which is just like right around the corner here, and it called from there to Kevin's cell phone.
Which then rang the office, I guess, somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, why is it ringing the office?
I don't know.
it
Well,
ring?
I got an interesting stat for you right here. Where's that? In terms of accuracy, Google Home is the winner so far by answering 81% of the queries correctly on average. So they're saying Google is winning the accuracy with the technology of the voice commands.
I'll say it's convenient to do what I just did, like ask it to call someone, but it doesn't seem like 80% accuracy to me. To me, it's more like 50 or so, because half the time maybe it's because I'm driving or something. It doesn't understand who it wants me to call. So it knows that I want to make a phone call, and then but it requires like a follow up. Or who do you want to call? And then I have to say Kevin Daisy again
Yeah.
before that happens. And I don't use it for texting. As far as like just saying text Kevin this message.
Yeah.
I don't do that because it screws up the text message like every single time. What I do though is I'll go into like my messages, right? And then there's a little button here. So wherever Kevin is, which I won't bring it up, I'll just say new. Yeah, well, I think you know what I'm about to do. There's a little microphone and I can then say the message, but I have to look at it and I have to correct it every single time.
Yeah, so sometimes in my truck it's not. Sometimes it's just being weird to say I can't help you right now. It's like okay, and the next time it might get it right. And my kids actually use it all the time. They'll yell and ask it questions. They'll play music, and they're starting to just mess with it all the time.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna be growing up with having access to that.
Oh yeah.
Another stat real quick to throw in there. Voice-based shopping expected to jump to 40 billion in 2022. So as far as saying, hey, I need to buy some milk, or I like the one example of, order me, size 9 sneakers, and then they send you Nikes because Nike's paid for that brand recognition or whatever. So people are gonna start buying stuff using voice. And
I wish I could have used it this morning. So I worked out this morning, and then on the way from the gym to the office, I didn't pack breakfast. So I needed to order breakfast from Denny's right down the street. I didn't eat chocolate.
It's a Hershey
That's
Kiss,
just my lunch. But for breakfast, I got Denny's, and they have an app, which is awesome. So when I left the gym, as I was driving, like every time I would get to a red light, because I wouldn't do this while I was driving. Of course, that would be illegal.
not in that old car.
No, so when I stopped, I would like go to the next step in the app, and I would keep putting in like, I'd pick this item, and then like the next red light, I'd like add it to my cart, or little by little. It took a couple miles before I could actually place the order, but it would have been awesome to just say, order me breakfast at Denny's,
Yeah,
and it already knows what I want. Like that
you
would have
like
been
pre-fill what you normally want.
Yep.
And then boom, you can just go. I'm about to order Jimmy John's in a second, and they'll remember your orders, and you just hit boom, and you're done.
Yeah. So the convenience of voice is, I think, like the big differentiator between voice and apps and the web is that we can just say something. Right now, it's the recognition is not great. Maybe it's 80%, maybe it's 50%, but it's going to get better over time with things like artificial intelligence and really just training the humans on what to say and how to say it, and maybe slowing down and enunciating.
Yeah.
But it'll get better and better over time to the point where I could just, as I'm walking out of the gym, go to this or on my watch or in the car and just say, order me breakfast, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Like, that would be freaking awesome.
What if it could do multiple things, too? It could tell someone that you're going to be 15 minutes late, and it sends your breakfast there. So there's all kinds of complexity you can probably get into it as well. Yeah. I think, too, well, you don't just have the voice speakers and the smart stuff, but you also have, like, voice search. So Google on the search bar has a search icon where you can deploy voice-based search. And I think that's huge, too, as far as how they're searching for services and businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Give me like top-rated plumber. That brings up a totally different search than if you type in plumbing Virginia Beach or Chesapeake. Top-rated, or the way you might say it versus the way you type it, will render different searches. So you got to think about SEO and how you're ranked on Google and your content. And there's a lot of things that can change when you're looking at voice search versus traditional typing search. Yeah. Also, you can say a lot the words you can say them a lot faster than you can type them. So you shorthand a lot of things. But when you're talking naturally, you're going to say extra, more descriptive words, and you want to look at that, when you're thinking about your SEO and your search.
Yeah, it's more conversational. So one of the things that we've done for voice SEO, which is the search engine optimization for voice queries, is one of the techniques that we do is we take the reviews that people have left for us and we bring them into our website. It does a couple of things. One, it's great validation for anyone that actually sees it and reads it. But two, it's picked up by Google and it's much more conversational and it's much more like voice. And that way, Google will see voice-like phrases so that when people search by a voice, there'll be a higher likelihood of a match. Something else that we do is we have a podcast, the Journey to $100 Million podcast.
Best podcast out there.
It is, yeah. It's the number one rated in our individual podcast, so that's pretty impressive. But, we've put that on our website. So each episode is embedded on a web page in our website, and we also have show notes. But, there's going to be a time where the embedding of that is going to lend to SEO, right? Voice SEO in particular. Yeah. So I don't think Google has picked up on that as far as like what we say in those episodes and that we get SEO benefit from that right now. Yeah. But we're ready for it. So the moment that Google actually supports that, we're going to be ready. We're going to have actual voice audio on our website ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
You got more stats?
Let's pull another stat here. I got a bunch of stats.
I got a bunch of stats here too. Because
you can read one off.
So actually, here's what's really interesting. I went to Google a few minutes before this, and I searched for voice search stats. And by the way, this is the first time I've seen this. This is unrelated to voice, but we're a digital marketing company, so I want to show this off. And it may be hard to see, but
those are feature snippets.
There's actually 2 feature snippets. Let me get even closer. Looks like it got blurry. So that is the first time that I've seen 2 featured snippets from one search in Google.
And they're from different websites.
Yep, from different websites. That's pretty freaking neat. But all right, first stat is more than 66 million Americans now own a smart speaker. About a year ago, I saw a stat from Amazon that there are 100 million Alexa-enabled devices in the wild, which I thought was pretty incredible. 100 million. Now, that's globally, I'm sure. The reason that I thought it was interesting is because we have a flash briefing. She's talking to us. We should have muted her.
Yeah, Alexa, no.
You have to call her Alexi around her if you don't want to trigger her. So 100 million Alexa devices. And since we have a flash briefing, our podcast is also a flash briefing. There's approximately 30% of the Alexa-enabled devices. People use flash briefings. So that's roughly 30 million people that listen to flash briefings. If that
Big
math,
opportunity.
if that math is correct, and it's definitely debatable, but it's a big number. Put it that way. Maybe it's not 30 million. Maybe it's 10 million. Maybe it's 50 million. And that was also a year ago. So now, this whole thing has grown. So it probably is around 30 to 50 million. But there's only 10,000 flash briefings at all. The last time I
Versus
checked,
podcasts, there's like
350,000 the last time I heard.
way more. So it's an open market, really. That if you do podcasting, and you went down to a shorter format, under 10 minutes, I think, right? Then you can be now on Flash Briefing as well as your normal podcast platform, and you can reach way more people.
Yeah. So what does that have to do with voice? Well, because Flash Briefing is listened to through your Lexi device, like an Echo over there. All right. So in the morning, I can say, Lexi, play the news, and she'll play whatever news I've subscribed to, including the Journey to $100 Million podcast.
Yep, absolutely. It's talking about how many there are. There's another stat here. So in the global market for voice search devices, it grew 187% in just quarter two of 2018. So, the growth rate is ridiculous. And I think you showed this before is the adoption rate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So the adoption rate for TVs was over like a 20 or 30 year period.
Yeah, generally speaking, it would take 20 to 30 years to hit about 50% of the population for any given technology.
Okay, the internet, though, was faster than that.
Yep.
And then smartphones was
Faster.
the fastest we've ever seen. I think it was less than 10 years or something like that. And then smart speakers actually was the fastest that's ever been. It's almost instantaneous. Within a few years, the adoption rate was over 50% hit. So everyone has this. It's not going anywhere. They're just going to get more advanced. And now you have the screen-based one. So now if you look for search results, you're going to start to get ads. Probably they're going to start monetizing this somehow, although they haven't really yet. But I would expect that.
Well, in flash briefings, I'll hear ads inside of an individual flash briefing, in particular like news flash briefings.
Yeah.
Ad Age, they were running ads for a while. They kind of run an ad for a while, then they stopped, maybe because they didn't have an actual advertiser. Yeah. But there's marketing school with Neil Patel and Eric Sue.
DreamHost.
Yeah. So for at least the last 2 or 3 months now, Neil Patel and Eric Sue, they'll actually read off a script for DreamHost.
Yeah, DreamHost. It's a hosting company. Yeah, that they recommend.
Yeah.
And they throw Walmart in there or something like that. But
it's an interesting way that they spin it.
But the actual, so Alexa or the Flash Briefing platform itself hasn't started to add its own ads or platforms for that, or like the Google Home, where it starts to show you people that have paid to be there in the search results. I assume that'll all be coming at some point.
It's just a matter of time, probably. Yep. Yeah. So let's see here. Comments. Kevin Griffin. Hey, gents.
Hey, Kevin Griffin.
Hey, Kevin Griffin. How's
Good to
it going,
see you.
man? Are you in the shed quarters right now? I need to go. I'm still waiting for my shed quarters coffee invitation. One of these days.
Oh, maybe.
Uh-huh.
We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe.
We had Kevin on. It was me and Kevin on. I guess a couple months ago. Not sure when it was, but yeah.
Yeah, one other thing on our website, if you go to thisisarray.com/trends, there is a guide about all of the digital marketing trends for 2020, and voice search is one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's voice search or just, I don't recall off the top of my head, or just voice technology. But voice technology is certainly one of the things that we've been talking about for at least a couple of years now. And it's not done. It's not a mature technology yet. There's a lot more to come in voice. Google's going to be picking up on it a lot. I mean, there's a lot more to come in voice. So we go into detail in the digital marketing trends for 2020 guide. So again, just go to thisisarray.com/trends, put in your email address, and we'll send it to you. It's free.